Children are strange. If you've ever spent enough time around them, you know their imaginations never stop. They see shapes in the dark, they talk to corners of empty rooms, and they invent friends out of thin air. Psychologists call this stage imaginary friends. They say it helps children deal with loneliness, express emotions, and practice social skills. Most of the time it's harmless, sometimes even adorable. But not every culture sees it that way. Folklore from all over the world warns us that not every invisible friend is imaginary. Some stories claim spirits disguise themselves as companions, whispering secrets only children can hear. Others say that certain entities are drawn to loneliness, slipping quietly into children's lives when they're at their weakest. Now imagine this. What if one of those friends wasn't imaginary at all? What if the smile was too wide, the whispers too frequent, and the games far too dangerous? Tonight I'll share a story, not my own, but one passed down from someone who lived through it. So turn off the lights, settle in, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next journey into the dark. Because tonight we're talking about Mr. Widemouth, the imaginary friend who wasn't imaginary at all. During the storyteller's childhood, his family was like a drop of water in a wide river, always moving, never staying in one place for long. They finally settled in Rhode Island when he was 8. Most of his memories took root there, though fragments remained from the homes before. Most of those fragments were vague. A backyard chase with another boy in North Carolina, building a small raft by a creek in Pennsylvania, fuzzy, fleeting moments. But there was one memory that stayed clear as glass. A memory tied to a house outside a small town called New Vineyard, Maine. The house was far too large for a family of 3, full of rooms that were never explored, empty halls echoing with silence. The day after his 5th birthday, he fell sick. The doctor said it was mononucleosis, weeks of fever, weakness, and confinement. Worse yet, the family was preparing to move to Pennsylvania. Most of his toys were already sealed in boxes. His bedroom looked barren, stripped of joy. His mother tried to keep him entertained. Books, soda, little comforts. But boredom loomed at every corner. And about a week into the illness, he appeared. The creature was small, but everything about him seemed oversized. His head, his eyes, his crooked ears. And above all, his mouth. "Call me Mr. Widemouth," he said with a grin. At first, he was only a companion against loneliness. He flipped through books, studied the pictures, asked questions. But he was careful. He disappeared every time the mother entered the room. When asked where he went, he whispered, "I hide under the bed. I don't want your parents to see me." Then came the games. One morning, Mr. Widemouth tugged him toward an empty room at the end of the hall. The only feature inside, a tall window. Mr. Widemouth pushed it open, revealing the steep drop below. "I like to pretend there's a giant trampoline down there," he explained. "I jump, and if you imagine hard enough, you bounce back like a feather. Try it." The child leaned over. The air was cold, the ground too far away. "I could get hurt," he whispered. The wide smile faltered, twisting into brief anger before softening into disappointment. "If you say so," Mr. Widemouth muttered, retreating beneath the bed for the rest of the day. The next morning, he returned with a small box. "I'll teach you how to juggle," he announced. Inside were knives. The boy gasped. "My parents will kill me. These are dangerous." Mr. Widemouth's smile stayed fixed. "It's fun to juggle with these. Try." But the child pushed the box away, horrified. Again the frown, the scowl, and silence as the little creature slid under the bed, unseen for the rest of the day. The nights grew worse. The boy would wake to whispers, the sound of something shifting in the shadows. Mr. Widemouth's voice coaxing, "The trampoline is there now. A real one. Jump." But every night he refused, curling tighter into his blankets, forcing himself to sleep. One morning his mother allowed him outside for fresh air. There, waiting, was Mr. Widemouth. "Come," he said. "There's a path I want to show you." He led the boy to a narrow deer trail at the edge of the woods. This is important. I've had many friends your age. When they were ready, I took them down this path, to a special place. You aren't ready yet. But someday, the words echoed in his head. What lay at the end of that path? 2 weeks later, the move came. At 4 a.m, his father packed him into the truck. As they pulled away, he turned for one last look at the house. And there he was, a small silhouette in the upstairs window, standing perfectly still, slowly lifting a hand to wave goodbye. In the other hand, a kitchen knife. But the story doesn't end there. Studies show that nearly 1 in 3 children between ages 3 and 7 claim to have imaginary friends. Most fade with time, but sometimes the memories linger. In words like Mr. Widemouth, I've had many friends your age, make you wonder, was it just a fever dream? Or proof of something darker? Maybe the deer trail was just a path, or maybe it was an invitation to a place where children never return. The final nights were unbearable. Scratching sounds, heavy breaths, the feeling of eyes watching from beneath the bed. And that last image, forever burned into memory, the silhouette of a small figure in the window, smiling wide, a knife in hand. That was the story of Mr. Widemouth. It's easy to dismiss it as childhood imagination, hallucinations of a sick 5-year-old. But if that's all it was, why does the memory remain so sharp decades later? Why the insistence that there were others before? Maybe imaginary friends are harmless inventions? Or maybe in that thin space between childhood innocence and adult reason, something else hides, something that waits beneath the bed, something that smiles too wide. So the next time your child tells you about a new friend only they can see, listen carefully and pray they never whisper the name Mr. Widemouth. If tonight's story unsettled you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves the dark. And when you lie down tonight, keep your legs tucked tight under the blanket, because sometimes the shadows under your bed are smiling back.